Evening everyone, welcome back to the channel. And I've got to say, this video is probably the toughest I've ever done. Honestly, I really underestimated this job. I just thought, simple, take the engine and gearbox out of the car, then we'll separate the gearbox ready for taking out the timing chains, replace them all back together. Oh man, was I wrong. There's so much stuff to disconnect when you're trying to take the engine out. So I've tried to get everything on the video. Obviously there are bits missing, but everything key that you'll need to either encourage you to do it or terrify you is on this video. All I will do is say, don't take it lightly. Especially if, like me, you're doing it on a driveway. Doing it on a sloped driveway makes it even more fun. And don't forget that these cars are over 20 years old now, so you will need a lot of penetrating fluid. I mean, I've learnt a lot from it. I've got plenty of scrapes on my knuckles from it, and all I'm thinking now is timing chain kits all ordered. That's coming along hopefully in the next few days. Next video will be pulling everything apart, putting a timing chain in, checking the cam adjusters, because it's got like the Van Os systems where it can advance and retard them for the extra power, like most cars nowadays. And then put everything back together and back in the car again, which sounds so easy, and I really don't think it will be, but it's going to be fun. So hope you find this video useful and more fun than it was filming. As I say, I think I've got pretty much everything in, but if you're thinking of doing this job, got any questions whatsoever, put them in the comments below, and I promise you I will get back, answer anything that you need, anything at all. So watch it now. If you like what you see, thumbs up. If you want to carry on seeing how I get on with the Audi or other projects I've got coming up, which there are a couple, then hit subscribe as well. Obviously hitting subscribe will get you notifications of the next videos, and we can have fun together, or you can have fun watching me getting really frustrated doing this, and at the end hopefully having a really mint Audi. Oh, and along the way I will be doing modifications, because talking to a friend, we're thinking about going around Europe once this is done, doing the obligatory Nürburgring, a few other rings around Europe as well, and their standard brakes I don't think will be up to it, so it's probably going to be a Porsche 6 pots put onto it, so that'll be an interesting video, finding out if I can do it successfully. Obviously I'll be rebuilding them, putting them on, figuring out how to put them on, what things will be needed to do. Taking this out, I discovered a lot of the suspension at the front was completely wrecked. It would have failed the MOT because ball bearings are worn, rubber dust shields are torn, there's a couple of the rubber bearings, they're split. So you'll get to see all of that coming out as well, all that being rebuilt. I have found a supplier who supplies the S4 kit, which is upgraded, a lot chunkier. So I'll be swapping that onto the car as well. And I'm going to do a remap. And I'm not going for the Miltech exhaust because it's so expensive, and what I want from the exhaust, I think what I'll do is remove the centre exhaust, weld in an X-pipe, and that should release enough ponies, and maybe take out the rear silence as well. Obviously you've got to leave the cats in for the MOT, but also it's not going to help it running, even if I run 200 cell cats, when it comes to emissions. So as I said, thumbs up, subscribe, and wait for the next video. And I really hope you enjoy this one and you find it useful if you're about to do the same project, or if you have done it and you notice something I did that I could have improved on. Please put a note down for that as well, so I can learn for when I'm putting everything back together, because I'm worried that something's going to go wrong. It's me. Okay, so enjoy the video and I'll see you soon. Right, so time to get the front off. As you can see, we've had leaks. So let's see where they're coming from before I take everything off. And oil, more oil, more oil, more oil. I think this is standard Audi V8 engines. Just leak oil out wherever possible. So I think it's fair to say we're going to need a new oil sump gasket. I've got coolant leak there. Probably coming out of the gasket. I'll have to investigate that. And now just there's some dried up coolant from the past. So when I get the rad pack off, we'll be able to see that from above. But first thing we need to do is drain the coolant, which comes out there. Drain the oil, which comes out there. And then to get the rad pack off, we've got to get these air dams off, which are held on by two plates. You've got a nut there and a nut there, which have a habit of snapping apparently, so I'll get some penetrating fluid on there. Then we've got to disconnect the anti-roll bar or sway bar, so get some penetrating oil on there and on there and on the other side, because we need to get bottom arms off in order to get the drive shafts out. Same on the other side. Undo those to get the rest of the anti-roll bar, stroke, stay bar off. And we'll have to disconnect. So you got power steering, aircon, standard air radiator, and you got another auxiliary radiator there, another auxiliary radiator there. So just inside there. Well, I'll show you in a bit when I've got the air ducts off. We'll go into more detail, so I'll shift those first. Okay, see here, top hose, pulled up that metal clip. That's allowed me to just simply pull that away. We've also follow, can you see it? Bonnet release cable. So we need to pull that away. And that comes away just like that. So we've got that loose. we've got the bottom hose there. We've got to do exactly the same as what we did with the top hose, lifting the metal clip, and then just like that. Hopefully you can see it. They'll be able to push that away, and then we've just got to take out those Torx heads there. They're T45s. Okay, let's get these off. That's surprisingly easy. There's one off. Two off. I get the feeling these have been off before. And okay, maybe they haven't. Right, let's give this a go. And there we have it, front off. Whereas a few things to note. One, there's meant to be a big foam bung there. It was a bit of foam with a lot of gaffer tape, so this has obviously been took off before and then bodged. And then look at this, only half of it left, and this, fair play, it hasn't completely disintegrated, so that's another 2 parts to put on the shopping list. I also started removing the air filter. It literally just, there's meant to be a clip that goes in there and goes to there. That's completely missing, so that's obviously been took off in the past and not put back on. I've also removed the pipe that goes from there to fit onto there. That is here, just goes like that. That's gone. So next thing to do will be finish getting this out, but there's a piece of vacuum that goes inside, goes from that where my finger is there, goes inside to control this flap. Now this is closed when the engine's cold, kept open when it's hot, but this hose goes down, runs all the way down the inside, the inlet manifold, all the way down, round and into that valve. Something else I've noticed, the valve for the flaps in the inlet manifold is completely seized as well. So that's something else I'll have to take a look at. And as I said, coolant leak, not sure where it's coming from. Could just be hoses based on where it is, but I think I may replace that water pump just in case. And we've got loads of oil around here. That's all around where the sump is, so definitely a new sump gasket. It's a bit cleaner along here though, which is nice to see. So we'll wait and see what the rest is like. So next job to do, got to disconnect these cables here, got more to disconnect there, disconnect these pipes, and we've got to open this up, that's the ECU in there, remove both wipers. Reason is we need to take this off because there's screws down the back of the ECU container we need to get off, and some electrical connectors. That will allow us to remove this wire, well, it's part of the loom. That'll all be able to lift it up, out,
This will need disconnecting, obviously, because it comes through the bulkhead. Then from the auxiliary radiator we've got hose there, and we've got a couple of other hoses as well to come loose, but I'll go into a bit more details to that in a bit. Okay, so we've got the air filter out. Trick was open it up, and when you completely open it up, this vacuum feed here goes in through the bottom to feed the air flap. Just disconnect it, put it straight through and out, then you can remove the case. So next thing is to get this off, for which we need these nice little pliers, which make things a lot easier. When they fit. Okay, we've got the radiator out here. Reason for doing that was so that we could get to the wiring that's in there, and it gets rid of all this hosing. Really simple. Let's get the radiator. Here we go. You can see all the connections. They were all to the block. So you got there, there, there. There was another hose there. So they're all out of the way, and it allows you to get towards the electrics that have got to come out. All that was holding it in was one bolt there and one in there, both 10mm heads. Undone the fuel lines. Make sure you got a cloth underneath, because it does throw out quite a lot of fuel. One was simple pull off, the other one was unscrewed. That was a 14mm fitting. I've disconnected all these electrical connectors, took the mounting plate off. Reason for that is because we'll have to pull this hose through as well. When I've pulled all this off, disconnected this breather hose that goes into there, so that's got to come out the way. Obviously need to disconnect these, although it looks like part of the bracket's broken already. That's two out of the way. I'm getting high as a kite on petrol fumes here, or gas if you're American. Another one out. Okay, that's all of those wires out of the way now. Just got that one to do, which looks like 10mm. Let's give it a go. Try not to drop it. Right, that's the earth's disconnected. Put that nut back on. Okay, we need to disconnect that. Again, should be a 10mm, yeah. That's that out of the way. Then ECU cover, again 10s. No, they're 8s or 6s, so I need to get those. I'll also pry off the covers there and there. Get the wiper arms off and get its trim out, because I need to get the back of it to get the back off that. Right, they won't shift at the moment, so I'm going to leave penetrating fluid in them to soak for a while. I've took the positive earth off, positive wire off, I mean. Unbolted that one as well, like I said. Right, let's get round to here. What have we got? Okay, strangest thing I've ever seen. We've got a clip and then another clip. This is strange. So we need to get that off. Get that disconnected. Don't know where it goes. The problem with this is there's some things that are mentioned in Elsewin that aren't on here, and then there's a lot of things on here that aren't mentioned on Elsewin. So I think we'll disconnect the bottom hose there, then follow it up, disconnect it there. That'll allow us to move this entire pipe out, and we'll take this one out, which goes to the auxiliary radiator, and we'll take that out, which goes to the power steering. So I'm assuming it's a cooler for it, so that needs to come off as well. So let's get cracking with those. Time to get this one. I can even see it. Well, it's definitely not a T30. I'm guessing that's a T20. Okay, so that back one is a T20, and we've got one more. Audi obviously fitted this before they put the bonnet on. Drop everything everywhere. Good job I got the magic stick. Screw out. T20 out. So then we need to get this off. Yep, press it down, flat blade, pops out. Lifts out. And we've got these. What have we got down here? Right. Can you see in there? There's a load of connections. Not sure if you can see them or not. So I need to unplug those, and there's a couple of holes to undo as well. They're either 10 or 8 mil. Oh. Audi definitely did not design this thing to come apart. Just wondering if I can unbolt that. That one can. Now, 2, 3, 4, and then an 8 or 10 mil down there. Try the 10 first. Yep. If you're trying to do this at home and you've got a small child, bribe them into helping. Their little hands will help. Okay, there we have it. Right. So ECU disconnected. It's got to come off there. And it can pull through. Okay. That's a positive lead out. Right, so I think that's all the wiring undone. What I said before, I've disconnected these hoses to there and there. There was also a wire, an earth wire coming in there, you probably can't see it, but just inside there there's a 10mm bolt, sorry, nut you need to get off. There's got an earth going to it. And if we get under here, we're next going to be getting anti-roll bar fixings off both sides, anti-roll bar off there and on the other side, and the two bottom ball joints. Reason we're doing that is because we've got to pull out the front drive shafts. It makes a hell of a lot of difference if you can pull away the strut to give you more space to drag it out. Okay, next part of the adventure, getting this sleeve off and the same on that side. Then I've got to hammer them back. Please let this work, because this job is really dragging now. The theory is when these two slide back, the exhaust will drop and I can take it off, and that will allow me to get to the prop shaft, which is just behind, and undo that, at which point I'll be ready to drop everything out. Woo! I really hope it works. So, we're thinking 13, 14 mil. Let's go for it. Okay, bear with me. Okay, I was way off with the nut sizes. 17 mil. But here goes nothing. I so wish I had a ramp, especially when they don't fit. Spring washer's stuck. Stuck solid. And the big friendly hammer's missing. Oh God. There's another one loose. See, if I move this out of the way, you should be able to see a gap there, because this is purely the sleeve. Hopefully a bit of penetrating oil and it should all just come across. Let's put the phone down while I do the rest. I was pleasantly surprised by that. As you can see, they're now hanging down. Literally had to tap the two clamps and the sleeve shot across. Now for the fun part, got to get in there. Now the prop shaft, as I said before, the only thing stopping it rotating is the handbrake, or other parts of the world, the emergency part brake is holding it. So what I'm going to need to do is probably remove the first two at the bottom, take the handbrake off, rotate it round to do the next toe, so on and so forth until it's loose, and then use some zip ties to hold it out of the way. and then hopefully we can start undoing these bolts, same on the other side and at the front, and dropping the entire frame out into the engine and gearbox. One of the things I will have to find is, there it is, don't know if you can see it, in there's an arm with that's got a cable attached. That's your selector lever, so that'll have to be disconnected, but I think it's just a ball that pops off. So time to crack on. That took a good half hour.